Hello and welcome to Left Coast Live. I am your host, Dieter McBusiness, America's favorite white Anglo-Saxon Protestant gone left coastal. I am joined as always by the one and only Stat Pat, stateless patriot. Stat Pat, we are California lefties coming to
hmm
America about national politics, but today we've got a particular California specific situation with the governor's race that we're going to be talking about.
hmm
But before we get to that, what is on your mind these days? While we let the audience come in a little bit.
Well, first and foremost, I guess, I mean, the thing that's still like it's persistent because it's ongoing. It's in the news, so obviously it's on the forefront of a lot of people's minds, and that's the Iran war right now. And I haven't been more convinced than at any other point in my life that the U.S. as a superpower is basically no longer. Our military might is nothing more than a paper tiger. We've demonstrated that we can't protect our allies in the Middle East region at the very least. Um, Iran's essentially wiping the floor with us. Trump has no idea what he's doing. He is surrounded by sycophants and just ignorant charlatans who just have no idea. They have no, like it's not just that they have no idea what they're doing, but they even warned him about like how bad it would be, and they still went for it anyway.
Yep.
Um,
There's
you
no
know,
plan.
Iran has total, just complete control over this war. There was no plan. They went into this thinking, "Oh, this is just going to be a breeze. We're America. Like it's all we have to do is just regime change from the air. That'll work. Yeah, the Iranian people will rise up and topple their own government." And that's not happening. That didn't
A
happen.
lot, a
It's
lot of
not
people
going to
think.
happen.
A lot of people think because Venezuela was so easy, Trump
hmm
was like, "Oh, this will be just like Venezuela, and I'll just, take out Iran's leadership, and that'll be that."
Yeah.
And obviously, the Middle East is a little bit more complicated. So here we are talking about war. I love these Trump supporters that were all about like, "Oh, he's anti-war," and then he's not anti-war. He
No.
actually is proactive war. This is intentional war. This is illegal and offensive war. This is embarrassing, is what it
It's
is.
very embarrassing, honestly.
We're gonna owe Iran like reparations after this.
Yeah, that's what Iran's asking for damn sure. I don't think that's going to happen. Honestly,
Not in this election cycle, no.
no. And let alone ever. We there's info coming out now that Russia is actually supplying Iran not just with intelligence but actual like hardware or like actual supplies for their war efforts. And Iran's really got this unlocked to the extent to where like they're just openly taunting the U.S. They're like, "Oh, you want to do a ground invasion? You can't even you don't even have control of over the air. Like
Right,
what makes you think that what you're just gonna put a bunch of troops on the ground so they can die for Israel, so we can bombard them? By all means, like we've been preparing for this shit for 30 years. This is
right,
what your hubris and your arrogance gets you. Like
right.
just we're begging you, try us. You know?
American foreign policy people seem to really underestimate the resilience of other countries and cultures.
Of course.
And when you're from the Middle East, I don't care who you are, you're a survivor. Like you
Yeah.
are taught how to survive at a very early age, and that's
hmm
just part of their culture there
Yeah.
for obvious reasons.
hmm
And so, of course, Iran is prepared for this. It's their home field advantage.
For real, yeah, no, literally, exactly. And they have tens of thousands of drones at their disposal. Um, and those things, and we spoke about this before, but a lot of people, like, it really does come down to the money. Like, if people want to, like, actually have a grasp on this war, on this conflict, and like just develop a better understanding of it, it's just compare the hardware, and compare the effectiveness of what the U.S. and Israel has, as well as other allies in the region, to what Iran has. They can develop multiple drones per day, I think, if they wanted to, and it costs 20, 30 grand. Meanwhile, if you want to intercept those drones, the interceptor missiles for the systems that these countries have, particularly Israel, those missiles cost anywhere, like, they cost up to $1 million. So
Right.
it's just entirely lopsided from the get go. And I nobody can do math. I guess this just wasn't calculated into the equation when Israel and the U.S. decided to start uh, striking Iran at the end of February. It's just like, no, who is? It's incredible because Israel has wanted this war for the longest time, especially
Right.
Netanyahu,
Yep.
and it's like, were you so arrogant and so self assured that this was going to go your way that you didn't consider that they would retaliate to this extent, to this degree,
Yeah.
and deplete your resources, deplete your artillery, deplete your ammunition? Like, you're sitting ducks. Like, Israel's been bombarded, Tel Aviv's been bombarded with
Well, I
missiles
think the
because they can't
world
be.
the world underestimates these smaller countries, but
Hmm.
Iran, when you actually look at it, isn't that small. It's like 90 million people or something.
Yeah, 90 million people live there, and it's roughly the size of Ukraine, actually. So it's
But
not.
yeah,
It's not a.
well, Iraq is the size of California, so I know,
Hmm.
and Iran is bigger than that. So it's basically
Much
like
bigger.
our
Yeah,
whole. It's like basically our whole west coast, probably,
yeah. Like,
plus
you could probably
Nevada.
compare it to, like, Alaska, probably. It's a big country.
No, it's
It's.
smaller than Alaska.
Oh yeah.
Alaska's almost. Take everything west of the Mississippi, and that's Alaska.
Oh shit! I didn't even know it was that big.
Yeah, it's that
It-
big.
yeah. Regardless, like, comparatively, it's like it's Ukraine, and um, the topography is, it's like a fortress. It's mountainous. It's not flat desert. It's I mean, because it's just the idiocy of Trump, like, like, so confident in himself, has no idea what he's doing. He's doing this on behalf of Netanyahu. Like, it's no secret. And so, with each passing day, it's like, because he, like, wanted to get, like, a deal done, and wanted to do, like, a ceasefire, and so he came out and was like, "Oh, well, I just spoke with Iran, and I'm ceasing all hostilities. We're not going to be attacking anymore for the time being, for, like, I guess a week or whatever." According to Iran, those talks actually never happened. There were no talks actually going on at all, and it was literally just a a ploy to manipulate the market.
Right.
Yeah, I
That's
don't know
what
if you.
people are saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw that, but, like, it was like 15 minutes or so before the post on Truth Social was made. Someone put out a bet, that basically shorting oil, um, $580 million, that oil would go down in price, and somebody ended up making,
Fortune.
yeah, in the blink of an eye,
Yes.
instantaneously, like billions, probably. Like, I
That's
saw,
what our economy has become. Is
literally, yeah, it's
speculation.
it's a casino. It's
Yeah.
speculation,
There's
and
nothing of real value
yeah,
behind all
it's
that.
insider trading. Like, you wouldn't, you like,
The
there's no
Trump
other
coin,
explanation
the
for that.
Trump coin is the easiest way to expose Trump as corrupt.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah,
the Trump coin is just like so corrupt. Yeah,
yeah.
you see, I don't know, does it? Because I'm not paying attention to UCLA basketball, unfortunately. Yeah, But we do have the most
We'll take your word
national
for it.
champions in the history of the NCAA basketball tournament. Belongs to the UCLA Bruins.
Hell
So
yeah.
suck it.
Yeah. So it's just a excuse me, it's just a mess and a half. It's so ridiculous what's happening over there right now, and it's not going to end anytime soon. We're sending more and more troops over there. It's just like for what? No one wants to even be over there. There's rumors going around that the USS Gerald Ford, which is one of our carriers, was actually sabotaged by our troops and was basically rendered as non-operable. It was either like a fire that started, or the toilets, the whole plumbing system for the ship stopped working, and they basically had to turn around and it like they can't even do their job. They can't even go and do what they're supposed to do because like you need a functioning carrier. It's basically like a floating base of sorts.
Right.
So um, it's it's just insane. It's just absolutely insane what's going on.
Do we want to talk about the California governor's race?
I mean, might as well. There's a poll that came out that was
Yeah,
actually
hold on.
funded
We
by.
can watch this local news coverage. I think is actually always a smart move.
Yeah, fuck yeah, let's do it.
Um, this is CBS in Los Angeles.
In 20 years. But tonight, a new poll shows two Republicans have more support from voters heading into the
Hmm.
June primary than any Democrat in California.
And that's triggered a panic alarm in the state Democratic Party, which is
It
now waging
shouldn't.
an unprecedented pressure campaign to get many of their own candidates to drop out of the race.
CBS
Yeah.
LA political reporter Tom Wade is here to explain that, and
We'll
he
pause
has
it real quick.
details of the Democratic infighting.
So like, I mean, the simplest explanation of it, like if you're panicking about this, it shouldn't be. There's no reason to panic. It's very very simple. The Democratic field is packed to the brim with a lot of people running for governor. Meanwhile, on the Republican side, you only have like a few.
Two.
Yeah, and it's like two main guys. Um, so it's like obviously the vote, the support is split among a wider group of people. So because of that, the Republicans in the state of California are going to be more coalesced, and that explains the numbers. Like, there's no reason to panic. Just like this is why. Like when the actual general election comes, and both sides settle on one candidate, the Democrat is still going to win more than likely. It's very unlikely that the state's actually going to flip Republican. So like,
So there should be consolidation. Hold on. They're going to show
yeah,
poll numbers that'll
yeah,
show everybody in the field.
yeah. Let's
Yeah,
check it
and
out.
that's very much the thing right now. We'll get into it in just a second here, but yeah, things are getting ugly as Pat. 8 Democrats made
So that's
public
that's the
governor's
field.
race a crowded field, and for the
That's
first
the
time,
field right
state
there,
Yeah,
Democrats
which is pretty full.
yeah. How much do you know about most of the folks here?
So I know a lot about Tom Steyer, a little bit about
Yeah,
Eric Swalwell,
same.
not much about anybody else except for Katie Porter. I know a thing or two about.
Yeah.
Um,
So
the others just don't have the name recognition.
Right, Matt Mahan, I believe that's how he says his name. He actually did an interview with Jon Stewart on the Daily Show, and he is the mayor of San Jose, and I go to San Jose pretty frequently, so I'm in and out of that city all the time. I'm familiar enough with it. He um, does seem like a genuine liberal, like not too progressive, but it seems like he has had a successful career as mayor with what he's able to, with what he has been able to do in San Jose, which is not a small town by any means. There's like, I think, a million people there total, like there in
Right.
the surrounding area. So out of everybody here, he does seem the most preferable, but I don't really know much about anybody else here. I think Betty Yee is someone who works in Sacramento, probably like loosely associated with Newsom. I'm not exactly too sure. But fuck Swalwell, fuck Becerra, and obviously fuck the two
Why Becerra?
Republicans. Um, Let me see real quick. He was attached to something that, yeah, see, attorney and former health and human services. I think I remember seeing something about like he said something absolutely stupid. Um, I'd have to look more into it, but from what I understand, he's not a progressive by any means.
Yeah, I don't think any of them are except for maybe Steyer.
Right. Yeah, and even so, like he's kind of a billionaire, and he's already shrugged off by a
Yeah, we've
shitload of
talked about him,
people.
dude. I don't know, man. I feel like a sense of obligation to stick up for Steyer because he is
In a way,
like
yeah.
the best. He's like the best we can do in this field. I'm not feeling Katie Porter. Okay, sorry.
Sure.
She seems really nice.
Yeah,
But I don't want nice.
good on policy. Yeah. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say that she's nice. She's actually kind of a bitch. But
Well, yeah,
like,
she's
that's
been a
kind of-
bitch towards Republicans. But,
Yeah, yeah. It's she's like on viral for good reason, like exposing um people. I'm from Cali with extreme high prices. Majority of voters are not going to vote. That's true. Only a few small red districts in SoCal, but not enough Republicans to win in November. I completely agree. It really does come
yeah,
down
but
to
they
the
have to
bigger.
make it through the nomination process, though. We talked about the best to advance, right? So right now, the polls that we're going to see in a second are going to show Chad Bianco and Steve Hilton in double digits or whatever, and they're leading the rest of the field. In California, the top two nominees advance to the general, regardless of party.
That's
Okay?
right.
You can say what you want about our system, but that's the
In
way
the
it works.
Caliphate public,
So I wanna see these
Hilton-
polls.
I actually
There we
forgot
go.
about that. I
So
forgot
this
about
is
that.
it. Steve Hilton and Chad Bianco, the two Republicans, are up right now. So the Democratic Party needs to consolidate. Someone needs to
Really?
drop out. Someone needs to drop out. And Swalwell, Porter, and Steyer all have good arguments for why they should stay. Whereas the other contenders that we saw earlier,
Yeah.
don't really have.
I did not know that actually. If that's the case, like, yeah, no, I could see
So
why the panic
Becerra-
is happening.
Becerra, Tony Thurman, Antonio Viragosa, Betty Yee, and even Matt
Yes.
Mahan. Like, I think they should all drop out. The party's got to get involved.
Yeah,
The party's got to get involved here. This is outrageous.
yeah. No, honestly, I mean, regardless of your politics, like where you lean politically, if you're a Democrat, like you need to learn from Illinois' congressional 9 and 8th districts. Like you need to drop out and endorse somebody else, or just like don't split the vote. It's that simple.
Well, ideally, it would be down to 2 instead of 3. But
Right?
the
Yeah.
only reason I say 3 is because they're all tied at 10%. For those of you just tuning in, Katie Porter, Tom Steyer, and Eric Swalwell, who was up, are all tied
was.
at 10% now.
Yeah.
And then you got Chad Bianco and Steve Hilton in the mid-teens, and everyone else is negligible. Okay?
Yeah.
So these people need to get the fuck out of the way and think practically. And my guess is if they did, they would get behind, the voters would get behind Steyer because he's the
Maybe.
he's the leftiest of the ones left.
Right, yeah, between him and Porter. He so you actually taught me something. I actually did not know that regardless of party, the two people
Yeah.
with the most support advance.
Yeah.
I actually
Yeah.
didn't know that at all.
It's called the jungle primary here in California, where you don't need to be a member of that party in order to vote in that primary. It's the fucking
Interesting.
Wild West, dude. They call it the Wild West for more than one reason, y'all.
So does that mean that come the general election, there's only going to be 2 choices for
Yes.
the government? Interesting. I
Yes, the
actually did not know that.
idea is that whoever wins has a majority.
I see. Okay, so whoever makes it through whoever 2 people make it through the primary with the most votes.
Right.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a
California
problem.
governor's
Yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem, dude.
I see.
race a crowded field, and for the first time, state Democrats made public their own polling, predicting a possible nightmare scenario for their party, being locked out of the general election. In the top 5, the poll shows Republicans Steve Hilton and Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco at 16 and 14%. Democrats, Congressman Eric Swalwell, Katie Porter, and Tom Steyer all coming in at 10%. 24% are undecided.
These results confirm the possibility, albeit a low one, the possibility of Democrats being locked out of the general election.
Democrats could be locked out because in California's primary system, only
Look,
the top
there's
2
all the
vote
contestants
getters in
right
the
there.
June 2nd primary go on to compete in the November general election. The poll mirrors the results from a host of other recent polls, which is why the state Democratic Party is taking the unprecedented step to commission a series of polls costing hundreds of thousands of dollars to pressure candidates with low poll numbers to drop out.
I want to ensure that everybody has the information that they need to assess the viability of their campaign in this moment.
Democrats polling under 5%, like Javier Becerra, Tony Thurmond, or Betty Yee, have so far rejected calls to leave the race. The candidates
So
even
selfish.
lashing out at party
Yeah.
leaders for calling on only candidates of color to
Oh,
drop out.
God.
Tensions exploded even further
It's
this
so
week
brutal.
when
God.
USC canceled a scheduled
Stupid.
debate because of accusations of
It's
discrimination,
just about the
as only
numbers, you
higher
idiots.
polling and fundraising white candidates were invited to participate. Republicans who have not won a single statewide race in 20 years are clearly relishing the Democratic disarray.
This is just
Yeah.
the saddest governor's race we've ever seen. Candidates that nobody really knows, don't seem interested in, debate hosts that can't figure out how to pull off a debate. It's really just unfortunate.
The field consists of very
USC
capable
fucked it
public
up.
servants.
They did,
but
yeah.
people who
You hear
aren't
about this?
necessarily
I
able-
did.
Speaking
Yeah.
of the UCLA USC rivalry, by the way, the wealthiest school in California, the University of Southern California Trojans, fucked up the gubernatorial debate.
Yep.
Okay? That was supposed to be happening tonight. We were going to live react to that tonight, but it didn't happen because they trusted this algorithm to select the candidates instead of being smart about it and selecting them themselves. Then they came across as racist. And, you know, it should just be 5. It should just be Bianco, Hilton, Porter, Steyer, and Swalwell. But then
Yes.
you leave out all the minorities and, you know, Katie
Right.
Porter's a woman, obviously. That helps.
That's just.
but
I mean, that's just the
it's
roll
just
of the
breaks.
dice, though.
It's
Yeah.
the breaks, dude. Them's the breaks. Whatever happened to that saying?
Right.
to the
Embarrassing.
general electorate in California. Things would be completely different if Senator Padilla or if former Vice President Harris had gotten in the race, but they didn't.
Governor Newsom has not weighed in on the race, and it's not clear when he might make an endorsement, but he did tell us a couple of weeks ago he is likely to weigh in at some point. We have about 70 days until the June 2nd primary, so the clock is ticking.
So hopefully they'll make some changes in the next couple
Well,
of days.
I
Hopefully
mean,
we'll see. Yeah,
For the Democrats.
for
he'd likely endorse Swalwell more than like. That's.
It's
probably
annoying
the-
that Swalwell's running. God, can we do
It
better
really
than
is. God, for
That
real.
guy.
No,
that guy
for real.
is such a celebrity politician. Did
Yeah.
he get caught? What was his scandal? He got caught in some scandal not too long ago. Some like intern or something. Was it one of those
I'm
kinds
not
of deals?
sure, but
I'll look it
I
up.
I know that he he's very much one of the annoying kind of entitled elitist liberal types, you know, not like he's like definitionally like a coastal elite.
So he's
fits
getting
that- he fits that mold.
investigated for mortgage fraud.
Oh,
with it
really?
right now. It's an ongoing investigation. He's been involved in 2 investigations. One was a 2020 revelation regarding ties to a suspected Chinese intelligence operative, and he was cleared of that. And then there's a 2025 investigation about mortgage fraud that's going on right now.
Interesting.
So, amazing. Amazing. This is the quality of political athlete that can come out of California, you guys.
Yeah.
We got 2 Republicans who are in the lead.
Mhm.
We got Katie Porter, we got Eric Swalwell, and we got Tom Steyer. I don't know. We'll
God.
see what happens. Those other ones need to drop out, though. They really need to drop out and endorse. See, do you
I
guys
maybe-
know? Do you guys know how the deal making works? So this for the audience who doesn't know, who might be politically a little bit inexperienced. Let's say I'm Betty Yee, and I want to drop out, and I'm deciding who to endorse. Whoever offers me the best position in their administration, if they win, gets my endorsement. It's called power brokering.
Yes.
That's all it is. It's power brokering. And this is where I want like the DSA to get more involved and assert itself about power brokering, because they could have done it in the Illinois 9th. And we would be having a DSA candidate
For real.
going to Congress from the Illinois 9th if they had decided to get involved, take control, and make a goddamn decision.
Yeah.
Not
like,
everything needs to go to a vote.
Swallow
Sometimes it's
your-
called leadership.
yeah. Swallow your goddamn pride. I really do think like more often than not, it comes down to that regarding these people. You know, it's like you shouldn't like if you're actually serious about helping people, governing people, you want to be involved, but like the wind's just not swinging your way. It's not blowing your way. Like you're not going to make it. Like the numbers just show it. Swallow your damn pride. Talk to the campaigns who are at the head of the polls, who do have good numbers, and see what kind of deal you can make. Like no one's going to fault you. Like if you actually want to make a difference and actually be in the position to where you can affect people's lives positively, then go for it. But that's the fucking problem, because I don't feel like a lot of these people, a lot of people who actually run for governor, actually care about that. They just want the power. They just want the access, the notoriety. They want to be like a celebrity. I really do think it does come down to
Yes. Well, they say that
Too
there's
often than
three
not.
major reasons why someone gets into politics. One is money, two is fame, and three is power.
that. Yeah.
I mean, fame is a form of power, so it's a little bit redundant, but
sure.
you know, I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
having real power, being able to move militaries,
Mm-hmm.
like having weapons at your disposal, having cops, you know, prioritize your life over others. That
Yeah.
is what happens when you become an elected official. So
Yeah.
anyway, this is just back to the lack of deal making that is frustrating about the left. I find frustrating about the left is that
Yeah.
I think we really struggle to know how to make fucking deals.
Mm-hmm.
And I really hope that this California governor's race doesn't turn into a legendary fuck up. But
No, that's
there's
what
a
I'm saying,
chance that
too.
it could.
No, like that. The cynical part of me kind of does feel like it's going to eventually lead to that, because you can always count on Democrats to fail, and on purpose too. And that's why I'm saying, like, the cynical side of me is like, maybe this is being done. Maybe this is being done on purpose. Maybe like the Democratic field is flooded with multiple candidates for a reason, so that way they can just pave the way for the Republicans to go through the primaries and ultimately end up being the final two candidates for the general. I really do feel like it's that like fucked up and coordinated, but like maybe I'm giving them too much credit at the same time, because there's just that's probably not it. They're probably just all
Egomaniacs.
Yeah, just
Yes.
self-centered and in it for themselves. Honestly,
Narcissists.
narcissists. Yeah.
Narcissist. There it is again, guys. America's favorite mental illness. Narcissism. It's so much fun, isn't it? It's so much fun to think you are special.
Especially in
I'm
the political
so
world.
special.
God
I'm
damn
so
it.
special because I'm an American political figure.
God
I'm
fucking
so
damn.
fucking special. No, you're not. You're especially manipulatable. Like you are
Yeah.
easily manipulated by the powers that be. Your job is primarily to do favors for the people that put you into power. Or
The ultra
more
rich.
specifically, the forces that put you into power. And those
Mm-hmm.
forces are most dominated by capitalism. And yes, conservative capitalism. By the way,
Yeah.
guys, if you're watching for the first time, Please like, share, and subscribe. Could really use the subscribers. We were just in triple digits for the first time ever. So thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. But I
Crazy.
really want to try to get over 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. And yeah, I'm it's stuck at 666. So it'd be great if somebody could
Funny
help me
enough.
out and subscribe. So, but Stat that's the governor's race in California. Any final thoughts before we move on?
Um, I mean,
Oh, well, hold on. Who put Trump in power? Confederate flag waving, Bible beating, gun nuts manipulated by white trash one percenters. Those
Yeah.
four categories of people.
And that
And then within the one percenters, there's corporations.
yeah, that Fox News guy had a big hand as well. The guy who owns Fox
Steve
News.
Hilton. Oh, Rupert
No.
Murdoch.
Yes, he had a big hand in that as well, without a doubt. And not to mention the Clintons. They played the Pied Piper strategy, and it came back and bit them in the ass. They,
Yeah, it didn't work.
yeah, it didn't work. It was just a total failure. Um,
All right. So, final thoughts on the California gubernatorial race.
if there actually is like a debate between the candidates, we should definitely cover that.
Yeah, we'll go live.
I did see like coverage that showed all of them actually sitting together holding microphones. I don't know if that was like a town hall or what have you, but that piqued my interest. But yeah, no. Speaking of governors, Newsom uh, taking back his apartheid comments regarding Israel. It just
Yeah.
goes to show, like he was like, oh, well, I mean, I was just talking about like Netanyahu's Israel. I wasn't talking about Israel in general. It's just like you're a sackless coward. Israel, it's not Netanyahu. It's been the fucking country as a whole since its inception, since like its entire existence. It's apartheid. It just goes to show, like, I can't believe that sackless cowards like Gavin Newsom are among the front runners or the leading contenders to uh, become the president on the Democratic side come 2028.
Why
Just
not?
so
That's the
pathetic.
personality profile that I'm used to. The guy
Sure.
that sticks his finger in the air, checks which way's the wind's blowing. I mean, it all
Worked.
started with Clinton. I mean, Clinton
Yeah.
was the one that came along and was like, you just got to play the part, get legislation passed, and people will think that you're a good president.
Hmm.
And it's like, no, what you pass actually matters a hell of a lot more
Bingo.
than the fact that you just passed something.
Yes.
Like, people are just, I'm doing essays right now, what's wrong with the establishment left? And the three cardinal sins are hypocrisy, narcissism, and ignorance. I mean,
Yeah.
the fact that Hillary Clinton was the nominee in 2016 after the egregious mistakes that her husband made
Hmm.
in the 90s that hurt this country
Yeah.
is a testament to the ignorance of the establishment left, of the neoliberal left, of the casual liberal.
Yeah.
The casual liberal. And I just did the essay. I haven't published it yet, but I quote Malcolm X and MLK, man. Beware the white moderate, beware the white liberal. They don't say beware the white progressive because we're different. We actually
Bingo.
want big systemic change. We want
Exactly.
to change the whole fucking system. We're driving a 1950s Oldsmobile acting like it's a fucking Porsche and we need a whole new car.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it really that really paints the picture. That really just you couldn't describe like the current situation more accurately, honestly, like in a simple fashion, because it really does come down to. I mean, think about it, like the average. What is the average age of those in Congress right now? What is it, like 65, 68, something like that? Like everybody
Yeah.
in there has been there forever.
Hey, I got some
And-
statistics for you in a minute, by the way.
Sure. Yeah. Like I mean, there was something about Democrats, like party insiders and whatnot, actually becoming annoyed. Reports of them becoming annoyed that there's a lot more of a push to get more youth in the party. It's just like you would only have a problem with that if you were an old fuck, and that the party should remain comprised of old fucks.
Okay, so speaking of old fucks, here we go. Ready? Baby boomers are 20% of the population, yet they own 51% of all wealth. All right? Baby boomers.
Man.
Add to that the silent generation, and you got people who are 62 and older in America, which is roughly 25% of the population. Okay, this is a different way of slicing out the wealth gap. 25% of the population, people 62 and older, own 65% of all wealth in America. 25% of the population owns 65%. Now, you want to add Gen X? That means people who are 46 or older. And you got 91% of all wealth in America is owned by people who are 46 and older. 91%. That leaves 9% for millennials and Gen Z.
That's insane. Which are arguably, I mean, those two demographics alone, like it's huge. Like
Yeah.
they're like, I think millennials are the biggest workforce
Right now they are, yeah.
demographically in America. So
Yeah.
it's like the fact that that is an absolutely insane statistic, and the fact that like it's 9% between them and Gen Z, it's
Right.
atrocious. It's fucking vile. There's no
Yo,
other way
thank
to
you.
cut it.
Thank you guys for joining. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I could really use the new subscribers. Trying to get to 1,000 this year, preferably more. Please fire up the chat. Getting some good action in the chat. Got some haters as well, I think. Got some Trump trash in there. We're bound to with the hashtags the way I set up the description. So
Yeah,
we're bound to have some haters.
Bounce whatever off of us. The working title I had, I mean, it's all the same thing. It's the same news, but just cut in different ways. But the working title I had for my stream over here on my channel was Trump, King of Contradictions. It's all collapsing, and Democrats still fail at messaging. I mean, we're talking, broadly about the Democrats right now, and it's just still so true because with what's happening right now, it's like, where the fuck are the Democrats? Like, we are committing war crimes. We are just burning up $1 billion or more per day on this war, and there's just seems to be like no fucking outrage at all. We were just talking about how expanding the ACA is so damn unaffordable, and so we have to shut down the whole government over it. But we can just burn away billions per day on a war that has no end goal, no actual mission, no actual defined victory conditions. Like, this is like the biggest opening for Democrats to actually go out and make the case. But the problem is, they're all in favor of this shit too. They're just pissed that it wasn't done formally. They didn't go through the Trump administration didn't go through the right procedures to make sure this to make this war happen. That's the fucking problem. It's all these institutionalists that are so wrapped around like procedure and shit. It's just like, we live in an entirely different fucking America now.
Right.
And these insulated old fucks in the Democratic Party just have no fucking idea. They don't. There are only a few voices that actually do have some semblance of a grasp of how
Right.
dire the situation is, and just how unhinged the Trump administration is, and how they're lawless, they're boundless, and they're doing whatever the fuck they want. But if they're doing something like attacking Iran, it's something that they've always wanted to do like anyway, because they
Right.
can make a lot of money from it. Fucking Hakeem Jeffries. Like, nobody seems to be actually in opposition to this shit because nobody actually learns from the past. because they're
Well, they
donors.
want it. They want the war. Chuck
Exactly.
Schumer wants this war.
Yeah, because Israel wants it.
Let me deal with this. I am over 46 and have zero wealth, so I don't know where you get that number. Well, you're one person, and I'm talking about the entire demographic.
Right.
Odd that it seems you'd pick that number out of thin air. I'm picking that number because it's the Gen X borderline.
Between
It's
that
the
Gen
beginning.
X.
It's the
No.
end of Gen X, the beginning of millennials.
That's right. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Gen X, baby
Broadly.
boomers, silent generation. All right,
Mhm.
they all own 91% of all wealth in America.
Yes, and the statistic that you said before that was that 65.
25% of America's population between the boomers and the silent generation own 65%
That's
of
right.
American wealth.
So that would mean that Gen X has
26%.
That's right, 26% of
Yes.
the total wealth. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Which is
compared.
look, I'm not surprised by older people having more money. They've had more time to
Yes,
make money.
sure.
Right? It makes sense, but that is completely lopsided.
Mm-hmm.
That is complete. If you're in your 30s or you're in your 40s, you're supposed to be saving money, if not already having put down a down payment on a house.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and this is
It's just not
a
happening.
problem for everybody that I know. Everybody that I know struggles with this shit, no matter how successful they are.
Yeah.
Like, you buy the house, you're poor again because you got to pay into the mortgage every month.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just compare that. Just one demographic, one age group, Gen X, having 26% of the wealth in the country. Between Gen Z and millennials, two big age groups, only 9%. Like you can't even fathom it. But yeah, it's just anecdotal. Now, obviously, not everybody makes it. Not everybody is able to accumulate that wealth. The older you get, but we're just highlighting the discrepancies. Like when people say income inequality is one of the biggest crises facing this country, that's what we're talking about.
Yes. Top 10% of American households that own publicly traded stock own 93% of publicly traded stock. Okay? So get a clue, everybody.
Yeah, there's actually a pretty great green text that kind of highlights what we're talking about here, because we rail against boomers on this channel on this show all the time. Classic green text: be born in 1949, don't have to fight in the war, be 20 years old in time for the summer of '69, pick up some ridiculous 11 out of 10. Who's hitchhiking to Woodstock in my Plymouth Roadrunner I bought after working a summer job for a month. She's immediately into me because she's from a small town and I'm the only man in her life who's not her father or her brother. Bring her home and marry her. Go to get a job hired off the street with no experience and get trained. Buy 10 acres of land for less than what I make in a year. Rent out my land for decades. Retire and sit around the house all day looking at my collection of boats and cars I never use. Kids today just don't understand hard work and pulling themselves up by their bootstraps.
Right.
I mean, that's genuinely how it was back then. That's how, affordable everything was compared to nowadays. Boomers were given fucking everything. Everything.
So Trump's approval is at, because of what we're talking about, 36%. So it's getting close to George W. Bush numbers in 2008. Pop quiz. Do you know what Dick Nixon's approval rate was when he resigned? In shame?
Wasn't it like single digits?
No.
No?
No. It was over 15%. It was 25%.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
If you look at presidential approval polls over the years, starting with Eisenhower, then you will see the resentment of the two levels. Let's see, like that, right? They'll go they start with 90%. Like Eisenhower had a 90% approval rating at one point, but then over time, the the sides become more staunch and staunch and staunch.
Yeah.
So it's like you're always going to have 25% of the population that is going to be MAGA. That's really it. And that's tough to
Unfortunately, yeah.
accept because that's like 60 million people. It's like 60,
Right.
65 million people. My old essay, it was like, when I estimated it, it was at least 50 million, probably more like 55. Now I think MAGA is like 60, 65 million people. But the good
Yeah.
news is most of them are in rural areas. And the ones that are in urban and suburban areas, they're not wearing their MAGA gear anymore. People aren't.
No.
I haven't seen a MAGA hat or a MAGA bumper sticker in months.
Yeah,
Wow.
if you notice, like when it comes to Republican polls nowadays, a lot of them actually distinguish between just normal Republicans and MAGA Republicans, and it's actually pretty hilarious and pathetic that Trump and his sycophants only cite the polls that actually show 90 to 100% approval from just MAGA Republicans and pretend that's the general support when it's fucking not. So like not even like traditional actual Republicans are um, like completely in lockstep with this administration. They're not. Uh, they're not. They're not MAGA Republicans. Like they actually do see, oh wow, like this actually isn't what I stand for. This is just a betrayal of conservative principles and values, and that's why they're distinguished more and more often in these polls because slowly but surely Trump's support is fading away. But
Yeah.
of course, like you have the too far gones that like can't tell their ass from their elbow, that just blindly regurgitate anything this administration and its propagandists churn out there. Uh, like it's something they don't have to think. They've outsourced their
Right.
thinking.
Yes.
Yeah.
I talk about it in my Who Are MAGA Bible Beaters episodes,
Mm.
where they rely on their preacher to give them the answers to the test because they're too stupid to pass the test by themselves. They're trash. They're overgrown children, and they can't think for themselves.
No.
Bullshit. We think for ourselves. Oh, is that you mean ourselves? Is that what you meant to say? Your mastery of the English language is expected to be that mediocre.
We should like pose a hypothetical here. I think.
If you're MAGA, yo, fire up the chat if you're MAGA. I want to fucking hear it. I love fighting with conservatives. Nothing gives me greater pleasure than to bully the bully. So come on, you white
Honestly.
trash bullies. Let's hear what you got.
No, and
Fucking MAGA idiots.
that's the thing too. Like too many of these people were just not bullied enough.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, the biggest thing is like making them feel intellectually inferior because they fucking are.
Yes.
If they had any actual like intellectual awareness or self awareness at all, they would understand just how embarrassing it is to be associated with MAGA or identify as MAGA, let alone support Trump. Even to this day, like what the fuck? 10 years later, and you're still on the Trump train after everything he's done, after all the damage that he has caused in your life. Not just like America in general, not the libtards, your life, MAGA's life. He
Sold you out.
yeah, he has made your life a lot like
He's
harder
made
and
money
harder.
off of you.
Yes, yes, literally, he scams you. He has raised the cost of living dramatically based like his economic policies. He is He's sold out our allies. He has um uh his entire administration is corrupt. They're literally scamming off of old MAGA conservatives who don't know any better. Fundraising emails, scam crypto coins, what have you, and uh, everything that Fox News and Newsmax says that it is entirely in line with the administration. You don't question it ever. Nobody has the balls to question. Well, uh, this actually isn't true. Why did the administration say this when this is actually happening? Uh, there's not even a second of self reflection.
Right.
Like, it's
Because they're narcissists.
yeah, it's
They
literally
just keep
narcissism.
going.
Yeah, yeah.
I talk about it in one of my essays. They just keep reacting to this, that, and the other thing. They never sit still long enough to reflect and be like, am I getting it right or am I getting it wrong? And
No, it's everybody else that's wrong.
because then no, if they did sit still and do that self-reflection, they would have to come to terms with how ugly they have become,
Yeah.
with how evil they have become.
Well, if everything that I've been told by the Trump administration is wrong, then that means that I'm wrong, and I can't be wrong because I've dedicated years of identifying with this movement, with this MAGA movement, and if all of it is wrong, then I've been living a lie for years, and mentally I can't handle this. So I just need to keep on digging myself deeper and deeper and deeper, even no matter how bad it gets. It's that psychologically fucked up for a lot of the MAGA
Matthew Lewis, thank you for
cultists.
chiming in, Matthew. I really appreciate it. Their master Trump brainwashed his cult MAGA in his first season of his Orange shit show. They foolishly assumed that his policies would not affect their lives. Fuck around and find out is an understatement.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like just a little over a month ago, gas was $1.40 cheaper than it is right now. And you know what also wasn't happening a little
Hold
over
on, we
a
got
month
some.
ago?
Good.
A war with Iran.
1592, whatever. Get a real name, by the way. Sounds like since that we're projecting. Says you guys are deluding yourselves. Okay,
Sure.
So I've heard this retort before.
Wait,
It's basically,
who do you think we
you
are?
think the basic response is, oh, you think we're in a cult? No, you're in a cult. And my answer to that is, who is our cult leader?
Yeah.
If the left is in a cult, then who is our cult leader? We don't have one, so we're not in a cult. We are a reaction to your provocation. You are the aggressors, MAGA trash. You idiots, bullies, and cowards. You traitors to this nation. Please,
it's like
either leave the country, off yourself, or shut up, sit down, and get out of the way of the empathetic, educated, and enlightened members of our society, because you're in the goddamn way.
Yeah, it's like we don't even ride the coattail. We don't hang on to every word of fucking anybody. Right. It's not like we have.
No, if anything, we go no one's ever good enough. That's the problem with the left is no one's ever good enough.
Our standards are too fucking high. That's just the curse of being a fucking leftist in general, dude.
No, they call them purity tests, and I hate that term, but
sure.
The purity test is like kind of a fair criticism of the left. And that's kind of my point about Tom Steyer is if you take away. If I could make a deal with him, I'd be like, dude, if you can just say Israel's committing genocide, we're going to cut off money and arms to Israel for the next 100 years. If he would just do that, he could maybe become the next governor of California.
And you know what's funny about that too? It's like the thing is, he's a billionaire. He doesn't need their money. He's already he's shown that he doesn't need to be influenced by big money in order to actually do the right thing. So what the fuck is actually stopping him from doing that? And I don't like Tom Steyer. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but if he actually uses his status and wealth and power to implement actual progressive change that helps people, fucking go for it, dude. So that'd be a really interesting, I guess you can call it a litmus test. See what he says about Israel. Actually say that they are committing genocide. Because is he beholden to them?
No, he's just Jewish.
Yeah, I mean, fucking you even have Bernie that's out there crusading against Netanyahu, but he's not actually what he should be. He should be criticizing the government of Israel itself because the issues go far deeper than Netanyahu. But still, yeah, he can take from the leftist playbook and actually acknowledged, Israel is an apartheid state and they're committing mass atrocities. So they're committing genocide, and we should cut off all funding because they routinely violate international law.
Thank you for weighing in, Tony. I'm a retired Army combat veteran. I truly believe that Israel needs to fight their own battles and Americans need to leave the Middle East.
Couldn't agree more.
I
Absolutely.
agree, and I actually think, if anything, we should be fighting Israel.
Take it a step further,
If anything,
honestly.
we should be destroying Israel's military capabilities so that they can no longer threaten their neighbors, because I believe they are the aggressor, they are the threat.
Yeah, or like meet in the middle, like take the moderate position, which is just cut off all funding. You know, like at this point, that is the moderate position. You know, like it shouldn't be like because they have routinely violated international law, so they should not be allowed funding. You know, in any sane world, if this was like the 1930s or 1940s, if we learned what Israel was doing, like in Gaza, there would be uh, a coalition of allied powers, and they would be invaded basically. Because they're violating the sovereignty of their neighbors as well.
Right.
It in any sane world that would be the case. But um, the moderate position at this point is to cut off all funding because they violate human rights. They are violating international law. We couldn't agree with you more, honestly. Fortunately,
All right,
a
so
lot
I
of
want to
people,
get into the haters. I want to get into the haters really quick. So let's work backwards. Kelly is being super loud. So look up Israel, the 51st state of the United States, CIA documents, Israel, other crash dummies of corporations. I think what Kelly might be talking about is how corporations use Israel like defense contractors and surveillance companies and so forth.
Yep.
They use Israel as a test ground. I think that's
Yeah.
what Kelly's saying. Kelly, go ahead and let me know if that's not what you meant.
Yeah, I mean,
You're
look no
wrong
further
here.
than
The USA was bought and sold a
Palantir.
century ago. It wasn't a century ago, because a century ago we had FDR coming into office and he kind of straightened things out. We were on a good track until JFK got assassinated.
Yeah.
Then LBJ did what he could domestically, but he ultimately got ousted. The Southern strategy, political realignment, Nixon,
Yeah,
Ford,
party
Carter.
switch.
Then you hit Reagan, and then you're really screwed when Clinton comes around in 1992 and changes the Democratic Party identity into something that resembles Reagan. Really, that's what Clinton wanted to be. Clinton said he wanted to be like JFK, but what he really wanted to be was like a lefty Ronald Reagan.
Yes, which we ended up being. Yeah.
So Gavin Newsom's not going to win in 28. I don't think he's going to be the nominee.
God, I hope not.
He's
Yeah.
peaking too early, and the DSA will come out against him and sabotage him as hard as we possibly can.
Even if he does win,
whoever wins though needs to cut off. That'll be a big talking point. It's not good enough
hope
to
so.
say Israel is like, it's got to be, so it's abolish ICE, abolish APAC, and then a larger conversation about campaign finance. It's tax the rich. It's no more interventionism, and prosecute MAGA. Those are just
Big
five
one.
of the more important things that need to happen.
And we're not convinced that Newsom's going to do any of that on this show.
Turn into one world order, one nation with one king, and there will be peace for 3.5 years. Then fun comes. Okay, whatever. Trump,
That'd be
president's
cool.
all daddy of the modern day liberal. Yeah. America does need to mind our own affairs. Yeah, you got that right.
100%, dude.
Yeah, I don't know about organized crime. I think we kind of crushed organized crime, unless you want to say that Wall Street is a form of organized crime, which I would probably agree with.
I would argue even like organized crime as we knew it just eventually became blended with the government. Like it became so pronounced to the point where we essentially became involved with organized crime itself. Like take a look at New York City, for example.
Construction.
I would have no doubt whatsoever that when Trump was into the real estate business there, that he undoubtedly made deals with the mafia to get what he needed done there, and that's probably still the case to some extent or another today. The only thing is now, a lot of those illegitimate businesses done for organized crime back in the day are now incorporated into the actual legitimate business side of things, and so that's why there's a lot of lobbying for deregulation and quid pro quo. It just continues to be perpetuated today in various pockets of the country.
Back to Tony. I want to make sure we give Tony some love because he's putting in some thoughtful stuff here. And it's nice to have someone who served in our audience.
Yes,
I was
thank
with
you.
the 9th Infantry Division in 1968 and fought in heavy combat, and I fought dangerous short men who hit on the ground, and they win every time. We need to heal Americans first.
Like
Well,
if we
it's
did,
too bad they weren't listening to you back in those days. I remember listening when the protesters came out for Israel, Gaza, came out for the pro-Palestine protesters, and all these conservatives like, oh, these entitled kids, and they don't know what the hell they're talking about. It's like, haven't we learned anything from Vietnam and Iraq? The protesters are usually right. The protesters are usually protesting and taking time out of their day, taking time out of their lives, risking their lives in some cases to make a point because they've learned about something you are very ignorant on.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I could agree more. I mean, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
the United States of Israel eating Elizabeth Frisbee. Yes.
yeah. I mean, Iran's going to be just worse than basically all of our boondoggles and quagmires that we ever got in. I mean, the U.S. hasn't actually won a war in fucking God knows how long. We were so high off of our own supply when it came to the Gulf War and taking back Kuwait that like America has felt invincible since then. Meanwhile, Iraq was a costly failure. Afghanistan was an embarrassing and also costly failure. And what the fuck makes anyone in this government think that we can just waltz right into Iran and just
What right do we have?
It's just gonna be cake?
That's
come on.
That's so entitled.
Yeah,
That's so fucking
it's
entitled. We think
arrogant.
that we get to fucking replace them. So I don't know if this sounds like Kelly.
Yeah,
Might be,
like forget the moral side of it. Like, what gives us the right? Like, who do we think we are? Just waltzing. It's just like we can't do it anyway. Like they have been waiting for us. They've been preparing for invasion for years and years and years. Like they can outlast us. Like, and they're already demonstrating it right now.
Right. All right. I think we can probably wrap it up soon.
For sure.
I want to give some of these texts, these chats, "They're destroying the U.S. from the inside." They teach that Christianity is a white supremacy group in college these days.
To an extent,
the Christian, right? I mean, the MAGA Christians, the Confederate flag-waving Christians. Those are the people that are in a white supremacy group.
You see how they're...
This is the thing, like a prerequisite for being president, man. You must have spent some serious time in the southeast of America. You must know the South. If you do not know the South, then you do not know America.
Yeah. I mean, take no look further than how they're smearing James Tallarico right now. A guy who's actually like very much a godly man and preaching the word of Jesus, like straight from the Bible. And he's being smeared and attacked by Trump and his lackeys as being too woke. And I think his own fucking pastor said that he prays to God that God will kill James Tallarico. It's just like these people are fucking psychopaths. Like what the fuck, dude?
Those exactly. Okay, so the term that I want you guys to take with you, and we'll end on this, is Confederate Christian nationalists. That is what they are. Bring back the term Confederacy. That is what MAGA is.
Yeah. The thing is, Christy, these people think they are the only real Christians, and that's the problem. Like they think if you're too compassionate, if you're actually reciting God's love as inscribed, for lack of a better term, in the Bible, like from the Bible itself, they think that's too woke. They think you're soft. You're a sissy.
Yes.
Like they think that's like uh they consider that to be a threat because
Right.
um
Weakness.
yeah, like I forget who said it. I think the quote goes, um, "A god that needs to be violent um, was invented by violent men." Something like that. Something like that. I forget, but like if you worship violence and you need your god to be violent in order um, to be worshipped, I guess. It means you yourself are violent. You're projecting your violence onto your God. You know,
Right.
like, and these people, they don't read the fucking Bible.
No.
They don't actually
No, the
understand like
minister reads it for them.
yeah,
The minister reads it for them.
and then they just ignore it.
Or they don't know that the message is lost. It's always
Entirely
politicized.
lost. Yeah,
Yeah. No, it's consumer religion where you're just telling people what they want to hear so they give you money.
bingo.
Hey guys, thank you for such a wild stream tonight. This has been fun.
Yeah.
Please like, share, and subscribe to me if you haven't already. I've gotten a couple of you guys to subscribe during this stream. Would really love to get a few more if you don't mind. Please subscribe to StatPat Stateless Patriot if you have not already.
Yep. Stream my channel as well.
And we go live either Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm starting to think maybe we should start going Wednesdays if we're going to get a better crowd like this. Because Wednesday might be our better time for us. But
Possibly. Yeah.
yes, Kelly, if you truly follow Jesus, you hate money and materialism.
Exactly.
I hate money and materialism, but I don't follow Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah,
he's square.
Yeah. No. Like
That's
I
funny,
think.
Kelly.
Like, yeah. Jesus actually says, like, give away all your worldly possessions because you're not taking them to heaven with you.
Exactly. You can't take
Yeah.
it with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know because I've suffered mistreatment because of kindness, compassion, trying to live as Jesus did, not a fanatic in a tunic, though. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just sad, you know. People see kindness and compassion as weakness,
Weaknesses. Right.
and it's just like no, like it takes actual guts and balls to show um, empathy for the stranger. You know,
So
compassion
we
for
need
others.
certain
You
money
know.
to live. Yes, that's true, but that's the problem, is that you shouldn't need money for the basics. Like
Yeah.
the society should take care of your health care. Society should take care of your housing if you're born into a shitty situation and your mom and dad can't afford housing. Like this is all. Oh man, we're getting fired up with some more chats.
Are we?
Yeah. Trump administration literally coming out with economic data showing that we have higher inflation, higher unemployment, lower job creation, lower foreign investment. Educate yourself, MAGA. Shake my head.
Exactly. Exactly. The numbers don't lie. They spell disaster. It's
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it, Kelly. Thank you for that reference, though.
yeah, that's a good one,
Celestial
yeah.
King Solomon was the richest man on earth at the time and told people money is the root of all evil. He did not give it away. So, Celestial, real quick, if you're paying attention, was Solomon? No, it was Saul that came before David because Saul's son John was friends with David. So King Solomon was, I think, later down the road. All right. Yeah, lucky you, Christy. All right, guys, until next time, please don't forget that you don't get change in America by asking nicely. Thank you for watching. Do not miss us next time. Tuesdays
Yes.
and Wednesdays, 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30
Yes.
p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, thank you all again.